Keep the rib.
We are the Great Unwashed.
How about one of these? Did that do anything? No. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Great Unwashed, a podcast for the 99%. I'm your host, Ian Mack, and today's quote comes to you from the late, great Donny Catron of the Tennessee Gentlemen, song The Show Must Go On, circa 1977. I'll keep pretending. I'll smile even though you're gone. Don't let the curtain fall. The show must go on. Welcome, my guest for today, Simon Flory.
Well, damn, y'all. Well, okay, thanks. Hey, good evening. How are y'all?
Good, man. How you doing?
Ian, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
Well, you just cut me right down to the bone right there.
Yeah, man.
Let's get down to it.
I do my reading, man.
Tell me about this quote. Tell me about this. Donny Catron, yes.
Yeah. Tell me about your about when you worked with Donny Catron.
Donny's such an important, just a huge person in my life. Man, wow. I'm still amazed about your quote. And it speaks so much to who Donny was, and also with my own relationship with being a performer.
Yeah.
I met Donny Catron in Arkansas when I was living in a town called Gassville, and he lived a few miles up the road in a place called Monkey Run. And it was out on Old Military Road and Holler Road. Okay. And he lived right there where it teed. And Donny Catron, it turned out, as I met him one night, and he was a bluegrass singer, and he had a little band, and I had met him before I heard him, and you could just tell. Turns out he was a regular on the Grand Ole Opry. He had been in all these great bands throughout the years, and he was still leading a band called the Tennessee Gentlemen, which were this progressive bluegrass band from the 70s, 80s, and just, they didn't know what they were and what they had, but they did at the time, and, their time had passed, but at the same time, he was still going and playing in Canada and playing overseas, and the interesting thing is when I met him, that was the very last of his good years. And I also traveled with him after he was diagnosed with a terminal lung illness, traveled with him to the WSM, who puts on the Grand Ole Opry. They had a tribute for him in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was also with him when they gave him the bill for that tribute. Wow. And he only walked away with like $1,200. And it was public then that he was going to die. And he's like, I ain't dead yet. And all these festivals dropped him, and it was a sad deal. And at the same time, just to be there with him throughout that and have him as a true music mentor, whoa, just to witness his like professionalism, like rolling onto stage with a oxygen in the last end times, right? Pulling it down and like ripping a high note like you've never heard. Yeah, just crazy.
A tenor?
Insane tenor.
Bluegrass.
Insane. But he's a Memphis boy.
Yeah.
Total conundrum. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect.
And his voice was like, it stayed pretty much the same.
Intensely high.
Yeah.
As his, I don't know how.
Like throughout the years, though.
Throughout the years. And I'm telling you that final time I saw him, which was at Salmon Lake in Great Valley, I believe, but it's Salmon Lake, Texas, Bluegrass Festival. And I saw him out there, and they just treated him like Elvis. When he came through on that golf cart, all these ladies, these blue hairs, just reaching out for him. Donny. And Donny used to say, well, my name is Donny, and my mother, my other brother's name is Donald. I don't know what mother was thinking.
That's great.
And this man, he just like the grace and like just the way that he, his job after he was, off of the Opry and all that, he was driving around old people in Mountain Home, Arkansas, on the old people bus. And he was sick because he used to make dentures, and he had to like carve up the.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
he was
heavy shit.
And he would have to make dentures.
Yeah, that was one of his like itinerant jobs when he was a bluegrass musician. But this whole time, since he was a late teenager, he was a bluegrass musician, and he got picked up by this amazing mandolin player named Troy Castleberry. And this is so cool that we're talking about this right now. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment because I don't know how many like super nerdy bluegrass like lineage listeners you're gonna have, but let's do this. Let's get into some bluegrass.
Hell yeah.
No, it's hard because there's not a lot even recorded of their stuff that is online.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me about so your time with touring with Donny Catron.
Catron, yeah.
Catron.
Yeah, Donny Catron.
Donny Catron.
Yeah,
it
was mostly working with him around North Arkansas.
Yeah.
At that time, and I was playing in traditional bluegrass bands and like at some Granny Rules festivals and stuff. I mean, real crazy stuff. When it really hit for me, when it made sense to me, is when I was competing in the first annual single mic championships in Branson, Missouri, at Steal Your Dollar City.
Right on.
And it was weird. It was as weird as you think it is. But the band that won, badass band, the Hillbenders, still a badass band. They did a bluegrass version of Tommy, a rock opera. Instead, they did Tommy, a bluegrass Opry, kind of thing. And it just fucking kills the
Who.
Yeah, Pinball Wizard just slays.
That's badass.
Yeah, and the Who had them open for him.
Whoa.
And do their shit.
No way.
Yeah, stadium,
Damn.
And they're still killing it.
Yeah.
Hey, so you know that wife swap show?
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that a show?
It's a show.
Yeah. Okay. So another band that played that day was a family band. Also, one of those things that they kind of get right when they typify, like bluegrass bands and stuff. It's all true, right? There's like the weird,
what?
Family bands where they're all wearing Bucky shirts or whatever. I mean, like, we went to a gas station. Awesome. And now we're going to sing, Perfect Harmony and wear glitter cowboy boots. And like, practice for 14 hours a day because Dad said so. Let me out. They have like the fire in their eyes. I'm like, oh my God. Help. So this family band. Okay, there's this family band, and they were notable because I remembered them because they were all brothers, and the dad was, he had curly hair, and there's not a lot of curly hair in bluegrass. I don't know. It's mostly, less party in the back. You know what I mean? There was like 10 years where they had electric basses, and that's when they had mullets. And then they got out the stand-up basses again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they played a song that didn't need lyrics, and they put lyrics to it. And their notoriety had come from, they were on Wife Swap.
Whoa.
Yeah. But later when they got home, a year later, maybe two, the kid who was the banjo player. Okay, so remember what I was saying about the fire and the want to and the like, let me out. Oh my God, I'm in a family band.
Yeah.
So I guess Dad left with one of the kids to go to the grocery store. Okay, so these were the kids that were on stage with us, right? At the single mic championship. I think we got 10th, and I think they got second or something.
Right.
And the banjo playing brother just murdered everybody in his family.
What?
Except for, I think it was Dad and one brother who were off on a like errand.
Grocery store run.
Yeah, so that they could come home to the absolute carnage.
Holy shit.
That's bluegrass.
Yeah. Dude, bluegrass is rad.
Yeah, I guess so. It's wild. Down deep in the holler.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, there was like that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so around that time with
Yeah.
Donny, I was in my late 20s, had been married, got a divorce, but still living in that area because I was playing so much music, and it was really shaping and molding me. Music that I had grown up with, but, parents split up, so then, I rebelled and listened to actual music instead of just being stuck in it all the time.
Yeah.
And really, what some people called old time and gospel and early country and bluegrass and all that together. Sometimes I'll just call bluegrass music or folk music or something. But all those genres are just labels that, are meant to conjure up some image that we're supposed to buy. So
Yeah. Bluegrass is in your heart.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
Winter chicken liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Donnie liked Crystal's
Yeah.
hot sauce on his chicken livers.
Nice. That's my kind of guy.
Exactly. This is a thing. So what's your hot sauce preference?
What's my hot sauce preference? I like vinegar-based hot sauces for hot chicken.
Yeah.
So like a drizzle of Crystal's is great.
Crystal's is good.
Crystal's good. If you're Valentina, I used to like Valentina a lot, but it kind of got to me after a while because I ate it like with so many tacos. I was just like, this is not hot
I've
sauce
had a
anymore.
similar experience.
Louisiana hot sauce. I was gonna say.
Louisiana is my gumbo go-to.
Yeah,
And my
gumbo,
red beans and rice go-to.
red beans and rice, baby.
It belongs on it because it's a little thicker, right?
Yep. My dad owns fried chicken restaurants down south.
Tell me more, please.
And,
let's talk about this.
Yeah, liver $8.99 a dozen livers and gizzards.
So,
With
is there a
some-
franchise opportunity? I'm interested. Let's do this.
All right. Dad, we got some investors. We did it.
Oh wait, this is going to take money. But this would.
What about
sounds
sweat
great.
equity?
I got it. What's it called?
Good and crisp chicken.
Take me there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
let's go.
I am there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like good and crispy.
Yeah, we should get you on a show down in Rockport, man. My boys got a venue.
Oh my God.
Do something cool down there, and then go hang out by the beach and
Yes.
shoot guns and stuff.
Yes.
Cool.
I will hold you to that. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm 100% on that. Let me tell you why. Guy Clark
yeah,
on top of all of it. And that's the place I always mention. Why don't we ever go places like that are in Texas that are actually closer, and then we go over to this other country?
yeah.
Well, like what place? We already went to the place that has all the trash on it. Oh, you mean the 1,200-mile coastline that has all trash on it?
Yeah.
We haven't been to Rockport.
Copano Bay, baby. Shout out Rockport.
Shout out. Copano Bay.
Copano Bay. I had a history teacher in college who lived in Rockport, lived on Copano Bay, and every morning he would walk around with his metal detector around the Copano Bay, and he pulled up some like Civil War Navy medals and huge like cannonballs because they had their Navy. The Confederate Navy was stationed in the Copano Bay, right?
Wow.
There was a Confederate Navy. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
until history
yeah.
until that history class. But Rockport's not really like that. It's not really like a
No, I doubt
it's
it.
Not,
Yeah.
It's not like thick Confederacy.
Yeah,
you know?
Texas isn't like that,
Texas
right?
isn't.
No,
No.
and
There's
for great reason.
Yeah,
Just they weren't.
yeah,
This was just still half Comanche country and
yeah.
frontiers people, and I guess half these knuckleheads went off to fight somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. How much you know about the Comanche?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to talk about the Comanche? I mean, I like them. I mean, I'm a fourth grade Texas history teacher. I have to
Hell
know
yeah.
like this much.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. I will say this much. around Texas, I like that we venerate the man himself.
Yeah.
The great warrior king, the last of them all. It ain't a story.
Quanah Parker.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah.
Do you know his, you probably did know this. His territory was from like parts of Wyoming,
right,
down to south of the border, like south into Mexico,
right,
from Nevada to fucking Mississippi. Like that's how much territory he controlled of the
I believe
Comanche
it was the
tribe.
largest inland empire in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Something like that. Controlled by one small entity like that.
Yeah. That's why the Dothraki from the Game of Thrones, they were modeled after the Comanche.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Who were they?
They were the ones on horses, Jason Momoa, yeah.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I just watched Killers of the Flowers.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
And I know that's Osage, but it's just like we're in this patch of country, right? We're in this same, it's that thing in your mind's eye where you're like, how the fuck are they riding horses from Dodge City to Fort Worth? They're just, I'm gonna go over to Fort Worth. I'm gonna go to Dodge City. I'm gonna go to Amarillo. Like, how do you getting around this easy until you're like out in this open country and you realize,
yeah,
it was a real wild patch of grass.
They called it the Great Plains because it was literally just frontier of tall grass, in some places 8 feet tall, even taller, right? And the way that it was set up, the plains went right up to the woods, so it's either woods or tall grass.
Totally.
And so the reason they were able to escape capture so easily is because they would just ride through the night. They knew how to navigate the tall grass, and they could see where all the white men were because they were always lighting fires.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it was just giving off their, so they were so tactical about it because they would just ride their horses to the high ground and scout it out and then, keep going. They could ride 80 miles in a night.
That's a lot of riding. That's hard riding.
That's hard riding.
They
were before the Comanches. I'll say adopted horses. They stole them from the Spaniards. Right. Stole them from the Spaniards, and they got, they were kind of like scavenger nomad type.
Yeah.
Types.
Before call them short and not too attractive until they got on a horse, and then they were like the centaurs. They became one with the horse.
Yeah.
It was like a real thing of beauty.
They would throw them up on the horse. You would start riding at 8 years old.
That seems late.
By the time, no, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I mean, you were constantly on horses, but you started like riding yourself.
Yeah.
And
doing your thing is
doing your
brave
thing.
Or a warrior.
They would work out by like running drills with the horses, and they were able to carry a spear, a shield, and a bow and arrow, and slide like bareback, and then slide to the side of the horse, holding on, and pick something up. And they would start with smaller items, and then once they got older, they would just get these bigger and bigger items that they would like pick up, and to where they could pick up a fallen, like fucking a fallen brother, they would ride up to him, pick up a fallen brother. But also when they slid on the side of the horse, they used the horse's belly as a shield. Yeah. So, dude, it's phenomenal. Like it's just amazing. They were just able to focus on this one thing and then just be really, really fucking good at that one thing, and that was horses. Yeah, they had a nickname for the Spaniards that loosely translates to stable boys.
Oh my God, yeah. Probably because they also just were covered in tin cans and all that too. They were just like, that's pretty wild. But what's I think really interesting is how it butts up with our modern history right here around Fort Worth, especially, and just like being at the edge of Comanche country, which is just like been fairly recent.
Yeah.
Up until when there was only several hundred people left around towards the end of the Civil War. Pretty that all that stuff super fascinating.
Yeah.
And at the same time, again, when we were talking about Quanah, it's like, come on. And then we get to, to actually have things named after him in, I think, kind of, I guess, reverence and do.
Well, yeah, it was in honor of him and his mother.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Cynthia Ann.
Cynthia Ann. I was going to say Sarah Jessica.
Yeah, it's definitely Sarah Jessica Parker.
Cynthia Ann.
Quanah's
Parker County, baby.
fourth. Yeah, my wife's from Parker County.
Yeah. Everybody's wife's from Parker County.
Yeah, that is actually true. So your wife is from Parker County?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she's from Chicago.
Okay. That is not Parker
It's definitely
County.
not Parker County.
So the showman quote about Donny Catron.
The show must go on.
Yeah, so there's a thing with old bluegrass musicians. They know how to feather their hair.
Yeah.
This takes three things. A blow dryer,
Okay.
a pink hairbrush, and Aquanet.
Yeah, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
Like just get it going and just like ruffling it back like this, right?
Yeah.
Backstage, but it's outdoors and it's like raining out and all this shit, and it just looks, everybody looks great. Just silver wings, the actual Merle Haggard song was written about his hair. It's just like helmet, George Jones style,
Yeah.
and he gets up and everything's perfect. Everything has to be perfect, and it is. That's the whole deal. Everything's perfect. And the other day, after going out and playing a show at the side of a pond down at College Station, it was a thing.
All right.
It was a fly fishing festival. Anyway.
All right.
Let's
dig
make
it.
that short story that.
That's the whitest thing I've ever heard anybody say.
Yeah, you know it. You know it. And we play bluegrass music.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. It was actually a fairly diverse event.
Yeah. That's great.
You heard me. It approached diversity levels. And no, it was good. It was good. I liked it.
Good. So what happened down there? What was yeah. So
nothing happened with the hair. I mean, we played some music. The wind came, it blew over my banjo and my guitar, and it was in a heap, and there was these things happening. And then this old man played to these backing tracks. That was kind of entertaining. And then there's a football game going on, and all these things happened. I ate some food, and I got really thirsty and really hungry, and got really hot, and played about 40 songs. And
nice.
Anyway, got home, and my guitar player Morris left, and but he left something in the car.
What did he leave?
A bottle of Aquanet. Oh Lord!
Yeah.
I sent him a picture of it, and I was like, "What are you doing with this?" He's like, "Well, man, I don't know. I've just been doing my hair lately." Oh my God, we have arrived. Here it is. We're crossing over the threshold. This is happening. We are becoming them.
Yeah.
That's
great.
I love it. And this proves it, because this is what Donny and I used to do, sit around in his studio and just talk shit. Now, now we have to record it, but
How cool would it be to write a script, all right, about zombies, about bluegrass zombies that are spread through the use of Aquanet.
So that's why you got
or maybe that's the cure.
Okay.
Aquanet.
Okay. So Jason Lee's name is attached already, right?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, we can talk to him.
We got him.
Doesn't he live out in Denton?
Let's
go see him.
Sure. Yes. No.
Bruce Willis's likeness.
No, Bruce Willis can't do it. You know what he did, though, is he bowed out. That was badass.
Yeah.
That was badass. He was like...
Had a good career? Peace.
It's like I literally made things that you can literally rewatch me in.
Yeah.
Like it's all good.
I've done my thing.
How cool is that? That was super cool. I love Die Hard.
You know, which one was the one where his son was in it? It's like Die Hard
17.
Yeah, it was like, dude. Oh, it was the more recent one. I forget what his
Free Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Live Free Die Hard. Is that the one? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Live Free
Live
Die
Free
Hard.
Die Hard or get off my porch.
There was one scene where he was just. I just remembered like there was one scene and he's got a gun and he's standing and he's like walking around in a circle and there's cars revving up around him and he's just calling his son's name. He's just like, John! John! That's just it.
I'm pretty sure he was mostly CGI in all those movies.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it
about
was just
3 or
like
4.
small words.
Just small words.
Ah,
But you know, it
You know what?
is, a career marked by what I would consider a holiday movie. I don't know about y'all. Where are
Yeah.
you at on the issue of Die Hard being a
It's a
holiday
Christmas movie.
or not? Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Best Christmas movie.
I
Come-
totally agree as well.
Come at me.
Okay, I'll
Great-
come at you with this
Great
one now.
Unwashed Podcast at
Here we go.
gmail.com for
Well,
all
let's-
your inquiries.
Let's get into this then. How
right.
about
All right.
Gremlins?
Gremlins is definitely a Christmas
Yes.
movie, dude.
Especially with Ronnie and the Ronettes. Is
Yeah.
that- oh, God.
Doesn't he put on
He puts on a Santa hat. Yeah,
Santa hat.
Little
He's got a
gremlin
Santa
dude. hat.
hat and a little bow and a flaming bow and an arrow, like a bow and flaming arrow
Well,
made
listen-
out of a fucking marshmallow.
Absolutely. And Gizmo is a Christmas gift anyway, right?
Gizmo's, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's snowing that night.
Okay, so was the shop in the first shot of Gremlins, do you think that was a real place or a set?
It's probably I don't know. It was probably
Can
a
we
set.
pretend it's real?
But, yeah, Chinatown, dude.
Yeah, that Chinatown is
Yeah.
that. I recently saw that film, Mickey Rourke film, Year of the Dragon.
Yeah.
That was in real Chinatown, and goodness gracious, like one of those films that like captures like, oh, that's actual trash on the road. This is not a set. And it just captures like you're just there. It's all your teeth get kind of dirty. You gotta piss. You just like piss on the sidewalk. You're like, you're eating street food and life is good. You're like smoking while you're eating all the time. It's one of those movies. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Y'all a Mickey Rourke fan?
Fuck yeah. I want to go back to Gremlins. Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
What do you stand on Gremlins 2?
Remind me.
All right, so they're in an office building. Have you ever watched the Key and Peele bit where he's the sequel doctor?
No,
Like, he just walks in and he's like, I heard y'all about to drop a deuce on Gremlins. He's like, all right, what kind of gremlin do you want? Everybody just go around the table and name the gremlin.
That's awesome.
He's like, oh, you mean an electricity gremlin that's just a bunch of zigzags and lightning flying across the room? It's in the movie.
You name it. I mean, that checks out. If that's a scale,
They really
that checks out with like Rambo and Rambo 2. I mean, like First Blood Part 2 is literally the electricity gremlin of Rambo 1. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Mad Max Thunderdome.
Which, no, but that's a 3.
Beyond
and
Thunderdome.
in that trilogy, the best is number 2.
Beyond
Road
Thunderdome.
Warrior.
Oh, well, Road Warrior, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Superior film. As a film.
As a film.
But Mad Max 1 as I don't know. Mad Max 1 might be the only movie where I'm like, I genuinely think this guy is an actor and he's not a piece of shit. And like after that, he just like got the whiff,
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so do we want to? Are we going? We talked about the Comanches.
I mean, Comanche stuff is weird. I got a weird side deal on this Comanche deal. And it's very side.
What you
But
mean?
it's, So like this historical context we're putting things in. I got this really bizarre instance, really bizarre point of view on it, because I grew up in a family that did living history. Okay. So we dressed up as pre-French and Indian War frontiersmen and women.
Okay.
And we would go to a park.
And shit in a hole.
Yes. But it was more like the state park or the historical park or a town park somewhere, and they would have these festivals, and they called them rendezvous. They happened a lot in the 70s and 80s.
Nice.
Into the 90s, and we did the whole thing, and we did it since I was an infant up until I was like a teenager, and it was wild, and it was like literally, I didn't know any better. I was like, okay, I am a native child. I wear a loincloth, and my mom and I made my moccasins, like this wild, weird kind of thing. I mean, and then I found Black Flag, and I was like, what the fuck was that? But it's truly one of those like living history things that became, it was a hobby, and when I look back on it, it was like a family thing, and it was a club, literally, it was like a shooting club, and like a family positive thing.
Did you get to shoot muskets and stuff?
This was like, okay, so when I say we're involved in this thing, I mean, when you go to the tire shop, you get a 5-gallon bucket of wheel weights, you take them out to the campfire you made with flint and steel, you heat up the wheel weights and the molds, and you make bullets all day on Saturday, because that's what Papa said we're going to do. We're making bullets, and then we're going to resize them. And these are we got to make them for the 32, the 30. No, we had a 32, a 36, a 45, and then we had a trade gun, which was like a 75 caliber, and then a musket, like a Brown Bess. And so there was all these manner of like, and they hung in every room with dead animals hanging from them in every room of our old farmhouse. It was really, so it didn't end at the, going to the public park and doing these things. And what it really came out of is, a generation from just one removed from the Depression and sustenance farming in my family. Yeah. And at the same time, just getting to be a ridiculous carefree kid in the middle of this was,
that's great, dude. That's gotta be wild.
Yeah. So listening to this, some of this stuff about, you were talking about how the Comanches live. It's not like, oh, I could, did that stuff. But one thing that's interesting about it is it always made me, because my dad's a reader, my mom's a reader. Yeah, same. Yeah, we weren't dressed. I didn't dress up as a Native person at all, and he wouldn't let me. Like, at one point they had a Native American naming ceremony. He's like, you're not doing that shit. And like, now I'm so appreciative of that. I'm like, it's not because he knew better. He was just like, that's dumb. And now I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that, because that is fucking ridiculous. Thank you. So there wasn't anybody like, it felt more like it was local culture. A lot of it was because of where we were at and stuff too. So it was really interesting.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but here's a message from our sponsors. We'll be back in just a moment. Just kidding. We don't have any sponsors. But check out Gusto's Burger Bar and More on Magnolia Avenue. Those guys are killing it. And we may not have sponsors right now, but you can be a sponsor by joining our Patreon. So go check us out on Patreon. You can gain access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and other cool shit. Gosh made baby bibs. I think that's the name of the episode. I don't know.
Gosh, but gosh, made baby bibs.
Yeah. And we're back from the break.
Where'd we go?
We to the moon, baby. We're enjoying some beverages from Bayou City Hemp Company and affiliates.
That old Delta 9 juice.
Delta 9.
Hey, recently won in the Texas Court of Appeals right there.
Sure did.
Defended, upheld, y'all.
Yep. That's why you just have to get a license and you can sell that shit.
For as much as I've heard that Sid Miller is just a piece of garbage, He does support the hemp industry and
Yeah.
even the legalization of cannabis, but something hoo-ha about, well, if my friends want to do what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Sounded kind of like George W. there for a second.
It's any one of those guys with those
Guys.
sticky fingers.
Yeah. They all got sticky fingers, baby.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
get theirs.
we got a little juice. I took out the gin, juice,
Yeah.
That's good.
What kind of juice are we talking about?
Yeah, the Bayou City.
Bayou City Hemp
Thank
Company,
y'all.
man. This
See?
is an unofficial
Yeah,
sponsor.
yeah.
We drink many of your products from many different of your lines.
Thank you. Of many different of your lines. I love that. I feel like that's something you would say as a toast as a king or something.
Yeah.
From many
Mayor.
different of your lines.
Of your line.
Of your lines.
Here.
Good one.
Yeah. So before the break, we were talking about
Comanches and stuff.
Comanches and stuff, but you also mentioned that you are an aficionado on North Island. No.
It may be. There's no.
Is that-
pandemic passion project? Is it like true crime?
Yeah.
Is it
Mine was the Comanches.
revolution in the air? Is it it's that kind of thing? So I mean, more interestingly, really thinking about it, I don't know. Do you remember that time during the pandemic, during the George Floyd protests?
Yeah,
and,
dude.
where how helpless you could feel at one time, and at the same time, how you just wanted to do something.
Yeah.
No matter what it was, support a black-owned business, literally attend a protest or a march, or become politically involved or whatever it was, but also feeling, oh shit, pandemic,
Yeah.
like holy
Chained.
moly, yeah, it's terrible.
Just fucking mania.
Yeah, it was absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And so during that time, it's like, where'd you put your energy? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like every artist was like, well, I'm going to make my opus,
Yeah.
And I don't know how much that.
I wrote a bunch of like COVID material, right, because I stand up comic.
Right.
I wrote a bunch of COVID material that I
About
just don't even use it anymore. How crazy is that?
About masks.
Yeah, dude, all kinds of crazy stuff. I would walk up on stage and and lower my mask and was sorry, let me lower my Biden flag.
Yeah.
And it's
Doesn't land anymore.
it doesn't land at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, it
I
doesn't.
got a couple of chuckles though back in the day when we were still having to put we had to wear mic condoms. It's the stupidest thing. It sucks.
I mean,
Anyways,
I don't like to share a mic.
No. Well, I mean,
Pretty
comics are pretty
nasty.
we're pretty dirty.
Well, I mean,
Individuals.
yeah. Once you have your own mic when you're a singer,
Mhm.
you don't go back.
Yeah.
Because you realize the folly of your ways as you sucked on and deep throated and really gargled down, half ingested a SM58, and you know what the SM stands for?
What's that?
Sadomasochism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's
Got it.
It's like truly, you start out with the 57,
Yeah.
but once you can really, get that and barrel it, then that 58 with that big old dongle at the end.
Yeah. That's called a throat hug, my friends.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, really, some people can really just chew on those. And back when it was like smoking bars, when I first started playing in the early 2000s, it was like you get some nasty mics.
Yeah. I have one in my car. You saw it. It was it's got red tape around it, and
All of the comedy mics
it's
are nasty.
it's like bent inward, like it's been dropped so many damn times. I actually got that one from Naaman. He gave it to me.
Thanks, Naaman.
Thanks, Naaman.
That's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I just need to put a new head on it, but it's SM58, dude. Dude, you've got some powerful gulps going on over there.
Thanks.
You got a good throat, man. I don't care what they say about you. You got a good throat.
I have a question about your name. The Unwashed.
Great
95%,
Unwashed.
The 99%ers.
Yeah.
Not a motorcycle gang podcast.
No.
Opposite
No.
of 1%.
No. So yeah, Great Unwashed was a pull quote from the novel Paul Clifford by Edward B. Leighton, where he referred to the lower classes as unclean and all this stuff. This is how the elites saw the people that were just everyday grinders, back in the 1800s. And just that thought of the elite classes looking down on those, it just kind of hit me out, and so I was like, "Fuck it, we'll take it back." And we're mighty. We are the people.
Yeah. So, you're unwashed and your mass is right, and just thinking of that in terms of like people and movements, and we just have a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
I feel like, just today with the strike that happened at the auto plant in Arlington, it was like 5,000 people walked off the job. That's like unprecedented in our generation.
Yeah.
It's, people are actually getting the change they deserve, because
they've been fucked for so many years.
Yeah, we're just getting, it's one bailout for another from the first auto industry, and now they hopefully can get there and get it fixed, get a living wage. Come on, and it's just great that people are doing something about it. In my music, I've done some like working class type, positive projects. That's not the way you want to say it. Recently, there's actually, I did some work with your very own Sam Culp here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recorded
Yokio.
Well, Yokio. Okay, so I heard this music. It was, and I was like, "Let's do a folk record together."
Yes.
You sure did.
Yeah, and this crazy guy. He actually, He set up an old tape machine and found an old record from the 70s and erased it, and we made a record over that record on the same tape. Got some ghosts in the machine, and it was super fun.
That's rad.
Yeah. It was super fun. They had a swimming pool at the studio, and it was just in a house, and it was kind of like early... I wanted it to be early 90s MTV Spring Break, but it was more like early 2000s MTV Spring Break, where we kind of got in trouble for having, some like, you can't have the adult stuff out, keep it clean.
And then at some point, the old lady showed up with grandkids.
Yeah, it was strange, and then there was kind of a run Ronnie run standoff, you know what I mean, happened and
I was like, they gotta go.
They gotta go.
Owen, go tell them they gotta go.
we had a little bit of fun, but we had taken it was all centered around old Woody Guthrie songs, and we had also recorded some more traditional tunes and some more recognizable songs. And this is all based around a project with my friend named Roger Harvey, and he comes from kind of the punk rock world. Hell yeah. And I come from the more of this traditional bluegrass world we've talked about, Virginia, Arkansas, and Indiana, and he and now Texas, and he's been to Pittsburgh and New York City and Philadelphia, and been in punk bands and been all over the world playing music, and said, "Hey, I want to do the music like with the traditional band. Let's do that. Let's come to Texas. If I'm going to do it with anybody, I'm going to do it with you.
Yeah,
we're going to do something different with it, new." And we started this project with Sam, and we got in a room and just played with a bunch of people that I've played with here in North Texas, and just like ripped a bunch of tunes.
Non-stop.
Yeah.
What was that one from last year? Is it "Don't Shake Me, Lucifer"?
Yeah, that was from my last EP. Yeah, that's from.
I really like that one.
Yeah, bro, this one.
Yeah. Oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the artwork from Taylor Rushing.
Okay.
Like that's his artwork, and we named him Duke the Grifter. If you get the reference,
Yeah,
you know,
all
if you know, that's a deep one. But you know, Luke the Grifter was an alter ego of Hank Williams.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had this great alter ego, this side character that he would do these recitations. They're laments. It was just about how terrible and shitty life is, and that's it. He would just talk about it with like calliopes in the background, and these songs are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a description of how life is in the 1940s, and it's great. Luke the Drifter, and that's why I named the devil character Duke the Grifter.
Nice.
Because, you know, same thing. And on that project that we started with Sam, I did actually a Luke the Drifter song called Pictures from Life's Other Side. It's one I recorded with, I replaced the Doc Watson song with it. I did it with, I did it live with Grant. Yeah, Luke the Drifter. Anyway, we did we updated some of the lyrics of these folk tunes. Even though they're recognizable, you know the tunes, you know the songs, even though they're, you know, even if they're nursery rhymes or something. And I really don't think they'll die, because when you listen to them, they're just as catchy. We all know the songs like, you know, Keep on the Sunny Side, or or songs like you know, the 9-pound hammer, you know. It's a little too heavy. You know, we have tunes like these everybody knows, but we wanted to update some of the things. So, like, for instance, we don't really have a liquor prohibition anymore, but we sure do against cannabis.
Yeah.
So we updated, you know, a couple of lyrics there. Instead of a long way to Hazard, it's a long way to Harlan just to get a little brew. We said it's a long way to L.A., a long way to Denver just to pick a little weed.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is. It's like literally, it's like, It's not supposed to be tongue in cheek. It's not even supposed to be funny. Everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, there's some lines about Rolls Royce on some of these, you know, kind of a working class anthem type songs. And we switch, hey, I don't want your Tesla, mister.
Yeah.
I don't want your new spaceship. You know?
No thanks. You brought a banjo, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Did
I
you
do
want
not
it?
have it on me.
Oh.
I don't know. Do you want me to play it?
I don't know. Sam mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, would you do that? Yeah, sure.
Right on.
I didn't even think about what we were going to play or what we're going to do.
I don't know.
That's totally up to you.
Yeah, that's up to you, man.
I had a very interesting banjo teacher. There's a thing in old time and folk and traditional music. It's lovingly called the your folk lineage. Okay, right. Who begat what and who and so forth, and you can kind of trace where you learn a song from in that way. And I learned a bunch of songs from my friend Ed at the Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago. And he learned them from Fleming Brown, who learned them from some of the old guys from Virginia and places like that. Subsequently, I'm here in Texas playing them for a bunch of folks and traveling around. It's taken me around the United States and around Europe and even to Alaska.
Which
also in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he became a monk. He's a Jesuit monk in downtown Chicago for the Old Catholic Church. I went to visit him this summer. It was good to see him. He hadn't changed a bit. He looked happier, if not more stressed. I don't know. He was trying to. He wasn't busy playing gigs like we did, playing fiddle and banjo and kind of in between time of his life. But now he's a monk in downtown Chicago. And he taught me how to play banjo. And I just want to appreciate him right now. Yeah.
Hit it.
I hope he's doing all right. This is called the Spanish Fandango.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a Spanish Fandango.
Spanish Fandango.
That's exactly how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
I feel pretty fandango myself.
Cool. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Dude, thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for busting out the banjo.
It's like kind of my speed right now.
Yeah, that's great.
Nailed it.
You know,
Yeah.
There's a weird thing in the. I like that we can just talk about it because music-wise, everybody has just so many different tastes in the way that we produce music, and I think there's been like a really big revolutionary change in the way that socially people talk about music, and it's cool that a lot of genre walls have been busted down, and
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah, there's still a lot of gatekeepers in the way, of course, but
Right.
but in terms of having more diverse, billings and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can feel like things got really rearranged post-COVID
Yeah.
in terms of the live music world, but
What'd you think of that Sturgill Simpson album, Sound and Fury? Did you ever hear that one?
yeah,
Made
I
that-
did. I liked the first version when it was called Quaker City Nighthawks. That was better. El Astronauta,
Yeah.
that was much better.
Okay. All right.
Take one.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
That's my answer.
Yeah. So, what is one unsolicited piece of advice that you would give our audience?
me? Is that what this is?
I think so.
So this is a piece of advice.
This is a piece of advice.
Who's the audience?
There's a check in the mail.
Who's in the audience? Who's the audience?
The world.
The world. Oof. I think a lot of people know what it is. It's it's from what my perspective is that's hard to tell anybody, how to live or what to do. If it depends on what day you're asking me. But one thing I do always preach is honestly, it's kindness and self-love, only because that's the exact same thing that I'm trying to work on every single day.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways I can do that is finding community, whether that's in music or finding it by hanging out and doing our little podcast type deal here.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate, just taking the time. But we can just like talk about shit. Here we are. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, man. What do you got?
Bring it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Always.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So like, what you got? Anything coming up? Like anything big coming up? Anything on the horizon?
I do. Definitely look out for that record. It's going to be me and Roger Harvey. We're having the experience where we get to kind of shop it around right now and just get people excited about it. I'd love to share it with you after this and hear your thoughts on it. I think it could be anthemic for your, for our 99% here. It's inaccessible to the 1%. It's that kind of record.
Nice.
Yeah, they won't understand it. It's Sumerian or whatever.
They've already got pie.
Yeah, they've got all the pie they need. Yeah. I mean, I have shows just always on the horizon. Whenever you're listening to this, please check that out. Be it locally or sometimes I get around certain times a year I get around.
Yeah.
And I might be coming to a
Spotify.
town near you. Yeah. And then of course,
Spotify and all that stuff.
Good stuff. So yeah, I'm constantly putting stuff out and I'm excited about, man, it seems like I'm working every day, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, this is, it ain't easy,
Yeah. Since when?
A long time. I don't know. I think that this has been one of the best conversations that we've had thus far.
Right on.
And I mean, whenever we want to do like a part 2, I'm definitely like, this is an invite back.
If we could, I would love to come back with Roger when we have the record out.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Y'all have heard the record. It's again, it's just I'm excited. It's something that Sam and I worked on. Other people all over the music, the Texas music kind of world, friends, getting together. And this kind of vibe of this podcast kind of gives me that same kind of vibe. So I think it'd be,
love it, man.
Perfect. Yeah, Roger's awesome.
Friends hanging.
Baby.
Yeah, thank you so much for having.
Yeah, thanks for being here. This has been an episode of The Great Unwashed, a podcast for the 99%. I've been your host, Ian Mack. I'd like to thank my esteemed guest, Mr. Simon Flory.
Cheers.
And good night, Indiana.
For more information on today's podcast and other Great Unwashed content, visit greatunwashedpodcast.com and follow Ian at Ian Mack Presents.